Alright, so let's go ahead and learn how to solve inequalities. X plus 4 divided by x minus 1 is less than or equal to 2. Now a lot of people made little mistakes on this, so we're going to cover this in detail. Now the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to bring everything over to the left hand side. So I have x plus 4 divided by x minus 1 minus 2 is less than or equal to 0. It's imperative that you compare everything to 0, otherwise it won't work. It's also very tempting to multiply both sides by x minus 1, but when you do that, that changes the inequality. So this is a lot more precise. So you're going to have x plus 4 divided by x minus 1 minus 2, and again you're going to have an LCD, so you're going to have x minus 1 divided by x minus 1, again that's what's in the LCD, is less than or equal to 0. So now in the top, in the numerator, you're going to have x plus 4 minus 2x plus 2. So again, don't forget the minor things like this minus sign distributes. So don't forget that, very basic thing. All divided by x minus 1 is less than or equal to 0 in the denominator. Now the top is going to simplify. If I add up all of my x terms, I have x minus 2x. So that's going to turn into minus x plus 6 divided by x minus 1 is less than or equal to 0. Or in other words, if I say this another way, again I'm using an arrow, not an equal sign, or another way of saying that is 6 minus x, again if you just reverse the numerator, divided by x minus 1 is less than or equal to 0. Now notice that I have a line divided by another line. So now we can use something called a sign chart to solve this. Now to make the sign chart, what you have is two lines. I'm going to say let f of x equal to 6 minus x over x minus 1. Now, the question is, when is f of x less than or equal to 0? Well, it's really easy. What you do, and again, I show you the sign chart method because it's easy to do the sign chart without a calculator and without having to worry about a lot of numerical values. If I put the line down 6 minus x, and I put down the other line x minus 1, and then f of x. Again, I have my line here. So watch the order in which I do things. This is 6 minus x. When is that equal to 0? That's equal to 0 at 6. So put that over here. Okay, so that's going to be 0. So put that, that's going to be 0. Now, if I pick a number bigger than 6, like say 7, 6 minus 7 is negative. That's going to be less than 0. So that's going to be negative on that side. And if I pick a number smaller than 6, like say 0, 6 minus x would be positive. Another way to look at this is that 6 minus x is in fact a decreasing function because the slope is negative. Look, the slope is negative. It's decreasing, so it starts off positive and then ends up negative. Now the other line that I have here, I will look at the line x minus 1. When is that 0? At 1. But now don't forget, the x minus 1 is in the denominator, which means you cannot divide by 0. So I'm going to make my own little symbol. I use a pound sign, or you can use 0. It doesn't really matter as long as you remind yourself that, hey, something's going on here and I can't divide by 0. Alright, if I pick a number bigger than 1, like say 2, 2 minus 1 is positive. So that's positive on the right-hand side. And if I pick a number smaller than 1, like say 0, 0 minus 1 is negative. So it's negative on this side. Now again, the thing I like about the sign chart is how simple it is to make each one. Now the question is, how do you construct, well, what is f of x, right? How do you do f of x? Well, that's the easiest one of all. Because that one, you just divide. A positive number divided by a negative number is negative. If you take something that's undefined, well, it's going to be undefined. No brainer. Positive divided by a positive is positive. And 0 divided by any number, 0 divided by 7, is going to be 0. And then a negative number divided by a positive number will be negative. So again, what I'm doing is I'm looking at what's happening here. Positive divided by a negative is negative. Positive divided by a positive is positive. Negative divided by a positive is negative. Now, if I read this sign chart, again, this is what I'm looking at here, the f of x. This is the part that's important. The other part just helped me build it. The question is, when is f of x? Remember, the question is, when is f of x less than 0? What's less than 0 from negative infinity to 1? I can't include the 1 because it's division by 0. And then 0 to infinity. And I do include the 0 because because again it's equal to 0. It's less than or equal to 0. So if I put this in interval notation, it's going to go from negative infinity to 1. I cannot include the 1, so again it's open, union, close, brackets, from 6 to infinity. And then I put an open bracket to infinity. And this is my final answer for the inequality. Again, works best. The sign chart works best because, again, there's no calculations. You don't need a calculator, and it's pretty basic.